Hey, Planeteers. It's 2 weeks out from Comic-Con, and I am still exhausted. However, I was also able to finally see Spider-Man Brand New Day. And despite the fact that this is what it was like avoiding spoilers online, I managed to do it for the most part, except for the one or two that were pretty obvious from months back. So I liked it. Hope you did too. Word came out today that Kevin Smith is writing a Marvel Star Wars crossover, and I feel like we need to start an entire campaign based around hashtag Patton shot first. And if you get that joke, you're in the right place. I'm Derek McCaw, and this is Fanboy Planet. Hey, Planeteers, welcome back to the Weekly Stack, the YouTube video in which I go over the books that I bought last week. Here are the rules. I go to House of Secrets in Burbank, California each week, and I pick up the books that I have reserved, pre-ordered, however you want to call it, through catalogs, and then go around the shelves and see what else is there. And so occasionally there might be one that I talk about that could possibly have come out a few weeks earlier and I just hadn't seen them before. And especially post Comic-Con, I might have missed them, for 2 weeks because it took a while to get back to the shop. Anyway, then I go over those that I have read, and there's still more in the stack growing and growing and growing. And I explain why I bought them. Here we go. I'm going to start off knowing that the one I picked up is really just it's a very specific audience, and that is the Ghost Machine official guidebook. This was issue 5, so the final one that covers Hyde Street. I was maybe a little bit skeptical of Jeff Johns launching Ghost Machine way back when, probably like 3 years ago, and yet I've been continuously surprised. The only one that I didn't really spark to, and that was just me, was the Rook Exodus, kind of the harder sci-fi universe. The Unknown War, I've really enjoyed every book in that, and I've appreciated that this guidebook, though most of it is reprints from entries that have been in other Ghost Machine books. Again, if you're just new to the Ghost Machine universes, then this is worth a look. This one focuses on Hyde Street. That's the horror one, and I love the way it's laid out. It's a variety of artists and a variety of writers doing these entries, and some of the entries are for characters that have not appeared yet. So I love that it's getting used to do this preview. It's not for everyone. I mean, I appreciate that it's held the line at $3.99. Kudos to you, Jeff Johns, for trying to keep the price down. And if you haven't bought comics in a long time and saying $3.99, that's expensive, no, that's actually cheap for where comics are right now. And I get it. There's all kinds of things that are way above my head in geopolitical issues. Tariffs. I point to that in almost all cases. But anyway, I enjoyed this. I really liked this in particular, Hyde Street, because I think that is my favorite, and I'm still surprised by that I really, really love the Hyde Street books. So there we go. Next, this is really, really cool that Image Comics has released. I'm going to put on my glasses so I make sure I get everybody's name right. Chachu, #1. And why this book is particularly cool is because it is written by Iman Vellani, and she had been writing Ms. Marvel and a couple of other books set throughout. But this, I think, is the first where it really is her creator-owned, and it's her solo vision, and it's bringing kind of a different viewpoint that maybe, though she was the right person to write Ms. Marvel, obviously, that she gets to talk a little bit more culturally about, assimilation in a world without superpowers. This is just a crime book. And so Chachu, Iman Vellani, Mariana Ignazi is the artist. Jordi Belair, of course, is just sublime colors. We've talked about him before. And the letterer is Lucas Gattoni. This has already gone to a second printing, sold out at the warehouse level. I mean, you might be able to find it at your local shop right now, but definitely people ordered this like crazy, and well worth it. It was really a great read, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. I'm going to go quickly through this next couple of books because they're in the middle of other series and, they're just fun. JSA number 22. And let me make sure I get the credits right on this. The writer is Jeff Lemire. Artist is Diego Olortegui. Colors are Luis Guerrero. And letters are Steve Wands. Aside from, I like the art. I like the take on the JSA here, both the older version and occasionally you're getting flashbacks into the younger version. The JSA as a team is a little problematic since obviously they formed during World War II or the beginning of World War II. That's what I mean by problematic, not like there's any issue with any characters, except maybe you have an issue with the Spectre, the literal wrath of God, aligning himself with a mortal to guide him. So this has been a need for Jim Corrigan. It should not resume the mantle of the Spectre, so the JSA is trying to figure out who should. Along the way, Jeff Lemire has also revived and updated a character I love that has not been handled terribly well by DC in the past, which is Kid Eternity. And this new Kid Eternity is cool. There's still an aura of mystery about her, but definitely a utilization of the power right. And when that character is now within a larger superhero universe, it makes sense that they can call forth other passed away superheroes. So I once again am going to say, if you can go back to that John Ostrander, Tom Mandrake run of the Spectre, you'll understand why really Jim Corrigan couldn't and shouldn't be the Spectre anymore. And it was just cool. I was happy. I've been really enjoying this JSA run, and thank you, Jeff Lemire. A book I've already talked about loving, so I'm just going to, again, be quick about it. The Deadman, part of the Next Level by Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo, with Chris O'Halloran helping out in lettering. And again, an absolute wonderful rethink of who Boston Brand is and what role he plays within the DC universe in a way that I've enjoyed almost everything that other writers and artists have done with it. There was like a weird haunted romance book done with Deadman, but they've always kind of used this baseline of what was established in the 70s. And this really moves the character forward. And as I mentioned before, it gives them a supporting cast. It's just really cool. So if you can't find number 1 and 2 on the stands and you need to buy the trade when it comes out, then that's the way it goes, because it's going to be well worth the read. Or, I mean, you can catch up with it on the app. But as always, when I talk about these books, as much as it doesn't benefit me, I say support your local comic shop. And there's going to be more on that, hopefully, on Fanboy Planet in a bit, because I learned some things at Comic-Con that I think are going to do really well for local comics. So if go to your comic shop first. If you can't find it there and you're going to have to get the trade and your comic shop can't get it, or if you're in an area where you can't get to a comic shop, then I will link to it on bookshop.org and you can order it that way. So I appreciate that, because I don't make money doing this. I don't intend to make money doing this. It's just a way to kind of throw out thoughts into the universe. So there you go. I bought Jughead Pie-mageddon #1. I got the shiny cover by Franco Francavilla, and I thought it was sort of a weird horror comedy thing, and it's not really. It turns out just a nice chance from Tom King and Dan Parent to revisit Jughead Jones the way I remember him as a kid, and a fun story involving him. And this is, I don't know if this is really like a last gasp from Archie Comics before the licensed titles they're giving over to Oni Press start up, but I enjoyed it. So, that's it. I just expected it to be more horror comedy, and it's not. It's just straight up comedy. So it's fun. Revisit. I understand finally, I understand the issues behind why Archie is licensing their books out, but I look forward to those. And it's not that I'm like a huge Archie fan. I just feel like there is room in this marketplace for Archie, both the horror version, which is coming, Archie in Hell, and just Archie. You know, I mean, one reason he's survived all this long, and I've said it before, is because a parent can go into wherever and they see an Archie book and they should know they can trust to give that to their kid. So, you know, there's room for that. There's need for that. And, you know, Scholastic, their graphics line has really covered that well. But I want more. Anyway, there we go. I blame Amazon Prime, MGM Studios, for suddenly making me interested in Masters of the Universe in a way I haven't been since college, when Orko made me laugh every day after my classes. So I have picked up Masters of the Universe Genesis, #1 from Dark Horse Comics. It's by Rich Duke, Gavin Smith, Fabi Marquez, and World Design on lettering. I don't know if I've pronounced Rich Duke's name right. I've read some of his work before. I've enjoyed it. We are both represented in the book Horror Not Hate, and so that, you know, raised my attention because I knew he was a good writer, and it's really cool that he's contributed a story. But this is going back to the origin of Skeletor. I mean, you know, all the Masters of the Universe, and I don't know how many times, honestly, don't know how many times this story has been told. I'm sure there are many versions, and so I enjoyed the Masters of the Universe movie. I have actually seen it twice, and it was just fun. And yet it did have a lot to say about toxic masculinity. So yes, there's some meaning in the meaninglessness, and I'm good with that. So I am imagining Skeletor sounding like Jared Leto, and unfortunately not like the cartoon version. But again, that's just me. You know, this is a good book that ties in as well Hordak, and I guess, you know, the implication that of She-Ra as well. And I don't know how this lines up with any previous version. I really don't, because, you know, the Filmation series was very much purposely vague about the backstory. And I do remember reading the DC comics that established backstory that that's gone. So I don't know where it fits, how it fits. I just know I enjoyed reading it, and I enjoyed the portrayal of Skeletor. So there we go. Thank you. And if I have mispronounced anybody's name, once again, please let me know in the YouTube comments or on the page on Fanboy Planet, or you can write in to editor@fanboyplanet.com. All I ask is, you know, be polite. I'm trying to be, you know, and it's an innocent mistake, because I think I just talked to somebody where I said I've never actually heard your name said out loud. So the last book I'm going to talk about is a one-shot that I think was celebrating 60 years of Mary Jane Watson, or Mary Jane Watson Parker to some of us, and that is Mary Jane Face It Tiger #1. There are a lot of writers involved, and I picked it up because you got J. Michael Straczynski, and you may note, long ago, he was kind enough to answer questions about the controversies around his handling of Gwen Stacy in writing The Amazing Spider-Man, and I know that there was some editorial interference there, but, you know, Straczynski, I'm not going to say he can do no wrong, but I mean, you got to give him credit. He faces his critics, and he's a really damn good writer, and a damn good Spider-Man writer. There, I said damn. I'm sorry. I said it 3 times now. J.M. DeMatteis is in there, and Nascenti. Phil Noto does a couple of stories on art. It's a variety of people. Andrea Ricardo, Alina Yerofieva, Luigi Zagaria, and Ashley Allen. You know, I think I've mentioned a few times that, like, I weave in and out of Spider-Man, and I'm currently sort of like, I went back in, discovered that I'm older than J. Jonah Jameson, and I'm a little bothered by that, but I'll get over it, you know. I mean, not literally older. The character does predate me by a couple of years, but canonically, I am older. And so I'm really not quite sure. I realize that Mary Jane is wearing Venom. Is that what you want to say? You know, that, and I think that concept is silly, but I don't know. Maybe in context it made sense. There is a story with that, but it's also very clear to me that the older writers like James DeMatteis much prefer writing stories about Peter and Mary Jane together. And obviously, I don't know where the MCU is going to go with it, with Tom Holland and Zendaya, but I mean, obviously there's chemistry between them, and, you know, we like to see that go. And I think that, I still disagree with the decision editorially, and who cares that I disagree because I'm just me, that you needed to keep Peter single. I mean, you can write stories about Peter single. You wanted to have those younger. Certainly Kurt Busiek found ways around that. But the idea of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson, maturing and growing together and realizing that they love each other and they're better together. You can still find conflict within marriage. I'm not going to pretend that marriage is not conflict free, because it's not conflict free. You could find stories. Superman and Lois prove that over at DC all the time. So anyway, it's clear that a lot of writers agree, because 3 out of 5, I think, stories in there, or 4 stories, deal, make it clear that they are together, not married, but together. And they kind of tie into each other a little bit. There's a bit of a through line. And it was just fun to revisit Mary Jane. And I thought it was going to be weird to read her as a solo, but only one story involves her with Venom. The other is just being smart. And again, I'm not sure where her career fits right now in the Marvel universe, what they say, but in 1, she's an actor, or in 2, she's an actor. And so anyway, it was a fun book. It's worth it if you can find it. They're good stories, and that's it. I did mention Horror Not Hate, which you can still go online, and I'll have that link available, and you can still pick that up. I did mention last week as well that I can finally talk. I have a story called Gunfight of the Wooden O with Ryan Samuel Carr doing art for an anthology called Billy the Kid's Weird West, which the book is still being put together. We're being kept apprised where everybody is in it. I'm very excited. I don't know if this is how all anthologies work, but it's working. So hopefully, we'll have a Kickstarter date for that shortly. But I don't even know what shortly means in comics. I do know that at the end of October, I will have a story in a book called Strange Eons, Weirder Tales. At least that's the current title. I don't know if it's going to stick, nor does the anthologist, but it's a prose fiction story. And so keep an eye out for that. And of course, yes, I will have links to that on Fanboy Planet, because I gotta promote me, and I promised with the other people involved in the anthologies, like, no, I promote like crazy. So in the meantime, next week, oh my gosh, is it already next week or 2 weeks, is Worldcon in Anaheim. So that's it's called LA Con, because it's being held in the Los Angeles area, but it's Worldcon, where they award the Hugos, etc., and it's going to be fun. And it's not necessarily comics oriented, but it's still, I'm me, can't help but talking about that, and I get to see people like Chris Garcia from the San Francisco Bay Area, what used to be my stomping grounds, and so I'm excited for that. And don't forget that LostCon will be held over Thanksgiving weekend, and I'll be hopefully signing there. There is another convention in between, LA Comic Con. I'm still a little torn about going to that, because it's being held on Halloween weekend, and I dig Halloween in my neighborhood, and I just don't want to miss out on that. So anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching and sticking with me this long. And as always, like, subscribe. Sorry, you got to do that, because that's how you get attention, right? But I will not clickbait you, I promise. Anyway, like, subscribe, and till we meet again, remember, use your powers for good.